All right. Good afternoon, everybody. We're coming to you live again from a bunker in Cambodia. No, just kidding. We're coming to you live from the garage here in Pier. This is another episode of Mr. V's Garage Band, and I wanted to rep the Pier Cross Country running shirt here. One of the things, in case you didn't know, that I do, in addition to being band director, is I also coach cross country. I love getting involved with sports. I actually taught PE for several years out in Illinois before I moved out this way. And I think that in a community like Pier, where sports are a great opportunity for kids to get out there and be well-rounded, instead of having like arts and athletics kind of beat heads like this, they actually go together quite nicely. So a big shout out to Coach Keys, Coach Mrs. Starr, Coach Mr. Starr, and the other coaches out there. I was a three-sport varsity athlete in high school. In fact, I'm kind of fulfilling one of the challenges I saw on Facebook this past couple of weeks. Mr. Munson, I saw, had posted a picture of him as a wrestler, and I didn't get around to posting this, but here's my wrestling picture for those live on the internet. You can see this was from my sophomore year. I believe it was a Nikiski Duels. That poor kid from Kotzebue, he never had a chance. I ended up getting him stuck in a cradle not long after this photo was taken. You can see he's turtling worse than Claude Lemieux under Darren McCarty. And bonus golden points for any of you Red Wings fans out there that catch that reference. One of the great things about being in band is that it doesn't interfere at all with athletics, and athletics don't interfere with band at all. In fact, there's this great opportunity that you can do being a part of band where athletics and the arts come together, and that's being a part of marching band or pep band, especially up at the high school, where we send the band out to play for different sporting events, and there is no other instrument that is more of a backbone that people think of when it comes to mind, when it comes to marching band, other than the trumpet. And so that's what we're going to take a look at today. There is a fantastic line from the musical The Music Man, the song 76 Trombones. It talks about trumpeters improvising a full octave above the score, because the trumpet is kind of that, almost like the flute of the brass family. It really takes the bulk of the melody, and there's this funny stereotype or stigma of trumpet players out there that they kind of believe that they're the best part of the band. In fact, trumpet players will walk up to you and say, "Hi, I'm a trumpet player. I'm better than you," when they shake your head. Oh, no, just kidding. I know many humble, great trumpet players. So, as I said, the trumpet is a member of the brass family, and we're going to have a little bit of a science lesson here. So, when trumpets were invented, you could go back a little bit further in ancient history. Think about like ancient cultures in the Middle East, taking a ram's horn and hollowing it out and using that. That's closer to like a shofar or something like that. That's closer to like the modern French horn. It really wasn't until the era of the ancient Romans when they really got to working with brass, and they figured out how to create these big, long stretches of tubing. In fact, one of the ancient Roman words for trumpet is tuba, and it's where we get our word tube from. Because really, if you take the valves out of here, it really is just a big chunk of plumbing. It's just a big metal pipe, a big metal tube. All brass instruments are made up of cylindrical or cylinder tubing and some conical tubing, where it goes from thinner on one side to broader on the other, especially at the bell. And speaking of the bell, one of the things that's very unique to brass instruments is all the sound from a brass instrument comes from the bell. There are no open holes. Remember, we talked about yesterday with the flute. Anywhere there's an open hole on a woodwind instrument, be it clarinet, flute, saxophone, oboe, bassoon, Anywhere there's an open hole, sound escapes. It's not that way with the brass instrument. The sound comes 100%. It's like loading a gun. You just shoot the sound at it. And one of the things that's cool about marching band and pep band is brass instruments will use that part of that characteristic of their instrument to swing their bells back and forth. You can create really cool sound effects moving your bell from side to side. Not to mention it just looks really cool when your horns flash from one side to the other. Even here, getting the light reflecting off of my old beat up trumpet here. I did mention that there's a science behind that. I just wanted to throw it out there. Band is like an entire school day's worth of curriculum all at once. You might be thinking to yourself, Mr. B, I don't need another science lesson. Well, guess what? This is cool science. You're going to have your language arts. You're going to have some math, with the counting and fractions and divisions and subdividing. Even the terms we use in music sound mathematical. You're going to have some foreign language. Most of the terms are in Italian. And I sometimes I'll throw in like French and German translations too. And of course, you're going to have science, like the science of sound, how this works. It's not just random how this stuff happens. So let's talk about like all brass instruments have some common characteristics. Like I said, they're all got either cylinder, straight tubing, or conical tubing, where they go from a little bit less to more, especially here at the tip of the bell. Okay. The other thing that all brass instruments are going to have is a mouthpiece. Now, here's some participation for you guys. Now, the mouthpiece, you'll notice, like there's no wood on this, right? So how do we create our sound? Well, we're going to have sound by definition is caused by vibration, right? Vibration of something, whether it's an air column or a reed on some woodwind instruments, or in this case, with brass instruments, it's your lips. So here's the opportunity for you guys to like run into the bathroom, find a mirror, or go into your bedroom, find a mirror, or if you got a little pocket mirror, bring it with you, and we're gonna go through a real quick exercise together. Okay? So I want everybody to take their tongue, just get your lips nice and moist. I know some of you hate that word, but we want that. We want some moisture there, and we're gonna push our lips together like mom, like you just walked into the kitchen. And like my wife made pumpkin bread the other day with chocolate chips, and it smelled amazing. And you think to yourself, right? I want you to push your lips together and make that, and get some tension there. Like push them so that, not so that you're ready. We don't want any pain, but we want to make sure there's a good tight seal, and that's why we got the moisture there. Push them together, and then I want you to, as tight tummy here, and I want you to try and shoot air through those closed lips. You should probably come up with a sound that sounds a little bit like this. Like that. Okay, let's try it again. We get those lips nice and moist. Push them together. Like that. And you can experiment by pulling the corners of your lips back, like you're going to say the word E, or really relax them forward like this. Right? You can actually, if you really want to have some fun, you can make the sound like a horse makes, like that. And that is an insanely cool way to get that brass sound. So what I'm gonna demonstrate really, really quick. By tightening and loosening your lips, the corners of your lips, you can get that sound to either go up or down, or. Right? The further forward the corners come, the lower, the more relaxed the sound. The farther you pull them back, the farther the sound goes up. That. And of course, pushing them tighter together a little bit in the lips. Okay? So, here's real quick. Here's a song on just buzzing my lips. Okay, So I just buzzed happy birthday with nothing but my lips. I didn't have an instrument. I just adjusted right here with the corners and whatnot. Now, here's another thing for you. All we're going to do is do that into the mouthpiece, right? So let me talk about a little bit about the mouthpiece real quick. The tip of the mouthpiece, probably one of the most important parts of the mouthpiece. This is called the shank. No, it's not the shank of a gang sitting, waiting outside the door, ready to do bad things to you. It's just the part of the mouthpiece that's going to go into the lead pipe on a brass instrument. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, okay? Up here, this is the bowl of the mouthpiece, and you can see that the trumpet mouthpiece here, it really is in the shape of a bowl. Okay, if I flip it over, we'll see, we'll get a good look at that up here. You can see I can kind of see through there. That's where the hole is. Okay, this is the rim of the mouthpiece, and inside is the cup. Okay, and where the rim and the cup come together, that's the spot where your lips are going to rest, and they're going to press into that. That's called the bite. Now, there are legends of brass players from hundreds of years ago, and I don't know how true this is. In theory, they could dangle their instrument from a ceiling on a string and reach up and just gently push their lips into the mouthpiece and play. Yeah, in the words of Yogurt, that great character from the Mel Brooks cult classic Spaceballs, that's bupkis. Okay, every brass player is going to need to push those lips in there, get them set in there, and you're gonna feel a little bit of bite on your lips, a little bit of a spot where they get hooked in there. Okay, so it's you can practice this. You just using your fingers, kind of like this. I'm going to use an actual mouthpiece. If you have a trumpet mouthpiece or a brass mouthpiece at home, you're welcome to do this at home. Okay, so let's get our lips wet again. You see, I do it habitually. Just lick them, and then get the inside, the cup of the mouthpiece, just a little bit moist. And we're going to push that right in the dead center of our lips, right in there, and do that same blow through. And all it's doing is it's taking the buzz of my lips, again, science here, vibrating lips, and it's channeling the vibration down into the shank, right? That's going to be really, 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 really important. All right? So, next thing we're going to do, we're going to take the mouthpiece, and we're going to put it into